Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're looking at something that fundamentally challenges how we use the web. We're going to explore a radical new framework designed to solve the internet's massive underlying trust crisis. We're talking about a brand new network architecture. It's called the Identized Internet. Here's a quick look at our roadmap. We'll start with the crisis of digital trust. Define what the identitized internet actually is. Check out the IdenDB identity engine. Look at how you build a trust score. Walk through some real-world applications, and wrap up with the future of sovereign identity. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the crisis of digital trust. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand why we even need a radically new solution, we have to face the current landscape. 1.4 billion. Wrap your head around that for a second. That is roughly 1 in every 5 people on Earth. And that's the staggering number of records stolen every single year due to centralized network failures. Because our current digital systems require absolutely zero real-world verification, we are just drowning in fake profiles and fraud. The internet was designed for openness, right? Not authenticity.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the identified internet.
So how do we actually fix a broken foundation? Well, let's trace the web's evolution. In centralized systems, think Web 1 and Web 2, you trust the authority, but that creates massive single points of failure. Then came decentralized systems, or Web 3, where you trust the network through consensus. That definitely brought us freedom, but it also brought a wave of anonymous scams. So the logical next step in this evolution is an emerging network architecture called Identized. Here, you trust the identity itself, anchoring digital trust to real verifiable entities. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole paradigm shift. Centralized gave us control. Decentralized gave us freedom. Identitized gives us trust. It's a fundamental move away from relying on faceless corporations or entirely anonymous networks. Instead, we're relying on verified, accountable human beings. So what exactly is an identitized network? Formally, it's defined as a digital ecosystem where participation, reputation, access, and trust are all built upon unique, verifiable identities. In this model, identity isn't just a bolt-on feature or an afterthought. It is the absolute required foundation of the system. And this operates on 6 core principles. First, uniqueness and verifiability, meaning one human gets one mathematically proven identity. Next, accountability and reputation, so your actions have real, traceable consequences that build your trust over time. And finally, privacy and portability, which ensures you maintain total control over what you share and that your hard-earned reputation actually moves with you anywhere online. Let's move on to Section 3, IdenDB, the identity engine. Now, what's really interesting about this is the heavy-duty infrastructure under the hood. Check out that speed, less than 12 milliseconds. IdenDB is an AI engine running on Postgres 17 that literally maps faces into incredibly complex mathematical points, which they call 512-dimensional vectors. It can search millions of identity records for fraud in literally the blink of an eye. But whenever we talk about high-speed data, we instantly worry about privacy, right? Well, here, privacy is foundational. IdenDB uses zero-knowledge privacy. It never stores raw biometric images. You can mathematically prove facts to a platform, like confirming you're over 18 or that you hold a specific citizenship, without ever handing over your actual sensitive documents.
Section 4. Building your trust score.
Imagine having a dynamic, living reputation that follows you everywhere. Your Citizenship Trust Score is continuously calculated from 0 to 100, and it's based on 5 live data streams. We're talking your verified identity documents, your physical assets, your work history, your platform behavior, and your marketplace reliability. Every verified action you take updates your score in real time. So the crucial point is how this entirely changes our economic incentives online. For example, a bronze user with a super low score is basically unverified and heavily restricted in the ecosystem. But a platinum user, they have a cryptographically verified history that grants them premium access. We're talking better marketplace visibility, instant job verifications. Essentially, being trustworthy finally pays off. Let's look at Section 5, real-world identitized applications. Let's bring this theory down to earth and see how it works in everyday life, starting with your physical belongings using the SafeLink system. Say your laptop gets stolen. You simply mark it as stolen, and it is instantly flagged on a global registry. If a secondhand shop gets it and scans its unique QR code, they immediately see it's stolen. That triggers a secure chat for its return. And it does all of this without ever revealing your personal phone number to the finder. Now, think about the hiring process. We all know paper resumes can be well, creatively enhanced, let's say. But with Work ID and School ID, your project completions and academic performance are cryptographically signed by the institution itself and linked straight to your CID. It completely eliminates the massive problem of fake job references, turning your real history into a permanent, unforgeable asset. And if you're running a traditional Web 2 business right now, don't worry, you don't have to tear down your entire website to use this. With Site and Bridge, you just drop in a widget. Users verify themselves with their CID, your backend sends a signed event, and an immutable proof hash is created. Businesses can instantly tap into this massive trust layer without destroying their current infrastructure. It's a total game changer. Finally, Section 6, a sovereign identity future. One identity, infinite trust. That is the ultimate promise of the Identized internet. Instead of juggling dozens of insecure passwords and totally fragmented profiles across the web, you hold a single sovereign CID. It unifies your work, your school, your assets, and your global reputation. It's highly secure, completely portable, and most importantly, it's firmly in your control. Which leaves us with a final, pretty profound question to chew on. In a world full of deepfakes, anonymous bots, and constant digital fraud, what is your digital word really worth? If you can't cryptographically prove who you are, how can anyone trust what you do? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a clear picture of how we might finally rebuild digital trust.